I've come back from the future to warn you that if you don't subscribe to SSJ, your future is grim. Dragon Ball Z Bojack Unbound gave us a lot of memorable moments, but one fight that particularly has sparked debates for decades is future Trunks versus Tien Shinhan, aka Tien Shinhan, during the Intergalactic World Martial Arts Tournament from the movie. Some fans argue that this moment proves Tien was secretly so powerful that Trunks had to transform into Super Saiyan just to keep up. But is that really the truth? Or is there more to this scene than what meets the eye? So let's take a look and see what actually happens, and let's break down the misconceptions. So let's set the stage. So the Intergalactic World Tournament was basically filler set up before the real Bojack threat arrived. The matches weren't about life or death struggles, they were about entertainment. This is important because a lot of fans misinterpret the stakes of this fight. Trunks wasn't entering the ring to eliminate a villain like Cell. He was entering the ring to put on a show for the crowd. That context changes everything. So the fight begins, and when the fight starts, Trunks and Tien exchange blows in his base form. Right away, you can see Tien is giving it his all. He's composed, disciplined, and actually manages to keep up in the fight and fight competitive while looking for a few moments for an opening. But if you pay attention to Trunks' body language, he isn't really fighting seriously. He's calm, relaxed, and even slightly holding back. Remember, this is the same Trunks that trained with Vegeta in the hyperbolic time chamber to defeat Cell. So the power gap between him and Tien is astronomical. So then if you look at Tien's request, there's a key moment that fans often overlook. It's when Tien outright asks Trunks to give the crowd a good show, which is huge. Tien knows the gap in their abilities, so he knows Trunks could crush him effortlessly. So instead of letting the match be a one-sided stomp, he requests that Trunks make it look spectacular. This isn't the arrogance from Tien either, it's actually humility. He acknowledges Trunks' strength and instead wants to entertain the specters. So now let's move on to the Super Saiyan transformation. So this is why Trunks goes Super Saiyan, not because he needs to, but because Tien was pushing him, and because he wants to respect Tien's request. After all, Trunks transforming adds flair and spectacle to the fight, and that's exactly what Tien wanted. In fact, when Trunks powers up, the animators even show Tien smiling. That's not the face of somebody that's shocked or terrified. That's the face of somebody who got exactly what they asked for, a show worth watching. So when people say Trunks was people say Tien was Super Saiyan level here, they're missing the bigger picture because it wasn't about matching power levels, it was about putting on a performance. So let's talk about the power scaling. Raw power scaling in general. By this point, future Trunks is on a whole another level. This was post after the time chamber where he was trading blows with perfect cells, even in his base form. His strength eclipses most of the Z fighters, especially Tien, who's incredibly disciplined, skilled, and has been left far behind since the Sand Saga. His techniques like the Tri-Beam can be devastating under the right conditions, but he's nowhere near Sand tier in a straight up fight. If Trunks wanted to, he could have just defeated him in a single punch, but then again, that's not the whole point. Let's counter the Cell argument. So most fans will immediately bring up Tien's biggest feat in Dragon Ball Z when he held back second form Cell using his Neo Tri-Beam. And yes, that was an impressive moment. Tien's technique was so powerful that he was able to stall Cell long enough for Android 18 to escape, essentially prolonging her life. But here's the truth. When it came down to the expense of Tien's own life force, the Neo Tri-Beam doesn't scale his raw power to Saiyan levels. It drains his energy and pushes his body to the absolute brink. And so what happened here? Cell got up almost immediately, brushing the attack off with just a few minor scratches, maybe some dirt. He had the annoyed expression on his face and was about to kill Tien. That basically shows us the reality that Tien's technique was devastating. It didn't put him anywhere near the Saiyans in terms of sustained combat power. So when people use this moment to argue Tien was on the same level as Trunks in the Bojack movie, they're highly overestimating the feat that they actually need. So the purpose of this scene, like I said, to kind of close things off here, was Trunks wanted to respect Tien's wishes enough not to humiliate him, and Tien respected the audience enough to ask for a proper show. It's actually a really wholesome moment for the middle of the movie that's otherwise focused on violence and destruction. Instead of treating the match like a slaughter, both fighters treated it like a martial arts, an exchange between warriors is rooted in respect. This is why the long-running fan claim of Tien was secretly Super Saiyan tier is actually more myth than fact. Yes, he looked good against Trunks in this scene, but only because Trunks allowed him to. The transformation wasn't about necessity. It was about showmanship. So what the scene really highlights is character, not power scaling. It shows Tien's humility and Trunks' sportsmanship, and that's the spirit of martial arts that Dragon Ball was built on. Let me know if you like this kind of video, me just talking about future Trunks and the Tien fight from the Bojack movie. This is just something that's been on my mind that I kind of wanted to talk about anyway, so I'll probably do more videos similar to this, and let me know what you think.
She don't wanna be saved, don't save her. 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 She don't wanna be saved.